Welcome to another episode of The Blitz. I will be your host, Bryan Greer, and today I will be recapping UFC 189. I still don't believe what I just saw. That card was phenomenal. I don't know if there was ever a card that the UFC put on that was hyped as much and delivered as much as UFC 189 did. And every fight on the main card ended in TKO or submission in incredible fashion. There is no way, if you saw UFC 189, you were not blown away. There's just no way possible. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the main event. Conor McGregor versus Chad Mendes for the interim UFC featherweight title. Conor McGregor, as we know, undefeated in the UFC. Chad Mendes, undefeated unless he fought the champ Jose Aldo, which he fought twice and lost both times. And this fight produced. In the first round, Conor McGregor came out aggressive with a back spinning heel kick. Came out trying to cut off the octagon against Mendes and was successful in doing so, landing his patented jabs and elbows. Also landing the front kick at will. But Chad Mendes was able to, in the first round, get 3 takedowns and looked incredible in doing so. But I want to talk about McGregor's composure during those takedowns, because those takedowns were brutal, and also how McGregor was able to not panic and just stay active. He was never in any real deep trouble while being on the ground, and actually was able to get back up off the ground all 3 times to make that fight in the first round actually competitive. And I do want to give kudos to Chad Mendes in the first round for getting also a lethal elbow to cut open Conor McGregor. But McGregor, like I said, able to just keep his composure, keep in that fight, and just land at will. And when he landed those leg kicks, you can see it took a lot out of Chad Mendes in that first round. Breathing heavy, not able to do what he wanted to with his striking like he likes to. You could just tell that 2-week preparation that he only had to fight McGregor was a big, big difference. Now, going into the second round, you had to feel good if you were a McGregor fan, and it would pay off if you were a McGregor fan. Chad Mendes came out in the second round and was able to get a very brutal takedown and keep ground control for over 3 minutes. But once again, Conor McGregor kept his composure on the ground, stayed patient, landed a few elbows from the bottom. Just didn't panic. You know, he was easily losing that round, but showed his savviness. And when Chad Mendes got side control and tried to go for the guillotine submission, he was able to just get up out of that submission. And then when he got back to his feet with less than a minute left in the second round, he started to just tee off on Chad Mendes, who you could tell did not have the stamina for this fight. And when he started to land those strikes and those kicks, it was all over. And Chad Mendes took one too many blows. That left hook that Conor McGregor landed knocked Mendes to the ground, and he started to pound on him. And Herb Dean, all he could do was end the fight. And now Conor McGregor is an interim champion in the featherweight division. That was a mind-blowing performance. Conor McGregor has answered all the critics. He has silenced all the critics. He is the real deal. I believe it's a new era in the UFC. It is a new era. Conor McGregor was on the ground, I believe, a total of at least 6 out of those 10 minutes he fought. And looked like he could just take it. He's able to get up off the ground. His striking is lethal. The way he's able to control the octagon. Only one guy you can compare this to is Anderson Silva. The way he could just dominate on the feet. Never seen another fighter besides Anderson Silva who's able to get up off the ground like that and finish a fight so quickly and devastating. This guy backed it up with all of the singing. He had Sinead O'Connor bring him out to the octagon singing, all the pageantry. He had all of his Irish fans there, and he backed it up. Because all that matters, as we know, is what you do in the octagon. So now, with him being the interim title holder, when he fights Jose Aldo, that fight will be double big now. It will be twice as big. And I just think that fight now is no doubt going to be the biggest fight in UFC history. You've got Jose Aldo, who has not lost in 10 years, and Conor McGregor, who now arguably the biggest star in the UFC, who is undefeated in the UFC. I can't wait for that fight. I wish they could fight it tomorrow, because that will blow the MGM Grand's roof off with all of those Irish fans, all those Brazilian fans. They have to have security the size of Godzilla for that fight. Now, if that wasn't enough for you, you had in the co-main event, which was an even better fight, the welterweight title fight between Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald. I don't know. I'm speechless after this fight. This fight was amazing. Amazing. Robbie Lawler won this fight in the 5th round by TKO. But let's get into this fight. The first round, they came out really not doing a whole lot. Trading jabs, doing a lot of shadow boxing. Rory McDonald tried to go for one takedown, which was denied by Lawler. And it was very much just, like I said, a lot of shadow boxing, not much in the first round. But in the second round, things picked up. And Robbie Lawler really got his striking going, landing his jab at will and just busting up Rory McDonald's face in the second round. It was just brutal strike after brutal punch, just one after another. And Rory McDonald tried to land a few head kicks, but they were all blocked by Robbie Lawler. And Lawler just seemed to have this fight at this moment. It was just very, very, very brutal striking. And I believe in this round he broke McDonald's nose. Now, the third round, that round was incredible. Robbie Lawler came out in that round again with just the jab working, just busting up McDonald's face. McDonald could barely see. He was just bruised all over, just had a mask of blood on his face. But he just found the will to turn that round around with about a minute left and just started landing head kicks and got Robbie Lawler against the fence and just landed brutal elbows and hooks and jabs. And it almost seemed like it was over because he rocked Robbie Lawler, and Lawler just looked like he could not do anything and was just all types of confused at the end of the third round. And actually survived that round, which if you know Robbie Lawler, you have to bring a tank in the ring, or actually in the octagon, to stop him. In the fourth round, I do not understand or see how Robbie Lawler was able to turn around. Going into the fourth round, again, Rory McDonald was starting to land shot after shot in the first couple of minutes, and it just was really, really giving Lawler problems. But Lawler, once again, dug down deep and turned that round around and started just landing again with the elbows and with his brutal striking, and put McDonald on the fence again. And both these guys were just a bloody mess at the end of the fourth round. And you thought this fight was going to a decision, and you just didn't know what way this was going. But in the fifth round, Robbie Lawler, wow. He landed a vicious jab that busted open Rory McDonald's nose and made him just crumble to the ground. You cannot blame McDonald for just crumpling to the ground, because he was a pool of blood. And that finish, the way Robbie Lawler was looking in the third and fourth rounds, just shows how much of a beast he is. I don't know what it takes to finish Robbie Lawler. I have a whole different level of respect for him now. I already had a ton of respect for him, but after he finished Rory McDonald, who a lot of people had already crowned the next, great champion out of Canada, a la GSP, the way he finished him just shows that Robbie Lawler deserves a ton of respect, and this guy is as tough as it gets in the UFC and in MMA. I'm still in shock at how he finished that fight. And kudos to both these fighters. This is one of easily the best fights in MMA history. I don't see how those guys were able to walk out of the octagon the way both these guys looked. Like I said, broken nose for Rory McDonald. They said Rory McDonald didn't even know what year it was when they asked him after the fight. You had Robbie Lawler with a split lip. Incredible performance by both those guys. Just in awe of them. And like I said, I don't know what it takes to finish Robbie Lawler after this performance. This guy is going to be here for a while. Get used to him, because like you said, he is a champion and he's going to be here. So, with that being said, I also want to give a shout out to Thomas Almeida, who had one of the most epic finishes I had ever seen with a flying knee KO against Brad Pickett. This guy, you got to watch out for him in the featherweight division. He is 20-0. He just has a spectacular striking. If he works on his defense, this guy is going to be a future champion. He just knows how to get it done. And in that fight, he was out of it, but like I said, incredible KO. So, with that being said, I want to hear your guys' comments on these fights. Do you think Conor McGregor is the real deal? Do you think that he is a future long-time champion? Do you think now that he will beat Aldo? Does this give you more confidence? Do you think Jose Aldo is going to come back and beat Conor McGregor? Now you saw him actually face a wrestler in Chad Mendes. Also, what do you think about Robbie Lawler fight against Rory McDonald? Was that the best fight you ever saw in the UFC history? Did you think that Rory McDonald should have been a little bit more smart in that fifth round, but just got caught? Love to hear your guys' comments on this and all of the other fights on the UFC 189 card. So, with that being said, I want to leave you guys with this. You saw Conor McGregor have Sinead O'Connor sing him out to the octagon. Now, you saw Chad Mendes have some guy named Aaron Lewis, who, probably like me, you have no idea who the hell that is, seeing him out to the octagon. It's a little disappointing, because him being from California, I would expect him to get no other than, that's right, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg to sing him out, or actually rap him out to the octagon, and actually pick one of the songs from Chronic 2001 to sing him and rap him out to the octagon. And I'm pretty sure if that happened, every fan in the MGM Grand Arena, Irish or not, would have been going for Chad Mendes. And that might have turned the fight around for you, Mr. Mendes. Because, after all, who doesn't like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and the Chronic 2001? So, as always, until the next episode of The Blitz, take it easy.